Immigration is moving closer to the centre of the UK's general election campaign. It's an area of huge vulnerability for the Conservative Party. But what are political parties promising in the UK? Is it a target of zero net migration, an annual cap on the number of visas? Well, we did a deep dive.
The Tories, they were entitled.
A couple of hours ago, the ONS released immigration figures, and they are down by 10% because of the plan that we have put in place. And visa applications for this year are down by 25%, which will mean the figures will continue to fall. It's because we have a plan, and it's because the British people deserve an immigration system that works. And Labour would scrap all of that.
The topic of immigration fueled an often bad-tempered clash at the latest televised debate ahead of the UK general election. Immigration has long been a major political question in Britain, with voters expressing concern that large influxes put excess pressure on housing, education and the state-run National Health Service, as well as damaging social cohesion. Back in 2010, Conservative then Prime Minister David Cameron pledged to bring net migration back to tens of thousands a year, a target he never came close to reaching. As you know though, ending the free movement of people into Britain from other European countries was a major factor that led to the 2016 vote to leave the European Union, with those championing Brexit promising it would help bring control of Britain's borders. However, net migration, which reached 329,000 in 2015, has only continued to rise. Let's touch upon the numbers though. According to the most recent official figures in May, the provisional total for 2023 showed net migration of 6,85,000. I'm talking about the immigration figures there, down from a record high of 7,64,000 in 2022. That drop was largely due to a fall in the numbers moving to the UK from Hong Kong and Ukraine under humanitarian visa programs. Indian nationals, though, were by far the largest nationality coming to the UK last year, accounting for about a fifth of the overall immigration, followed by Nigerian and Chinese citizens. The government there says the migration rises were partly the result of the arrival of more students and people working in the care sector along with their dependents. But in January, Mr. Sunak introduced new rules to slash the numbers coming in by about 3 lakhs by stopping international students bringing in family members, increasing the salary threshold for skilled worker visas by about 48% to £38,700 and restricting care workers from bringing in dependents did help. The government there said last month this had led to 30,000 fewer student visa applications compared to the same period the year before, and a 58% fall in applications by dependents of people working in the health and care sector. But you know, many analysts and experts argue that it is difficult to assess the benefits and costs of immigration. While a rise in migration adds to the demand on public services, migrants will also pay taxes and provide other economic benefits. But critics of high immigration say it depresses wages, while rapid demographic change impacts society and makes integration almost impossible. This is what critics argue. They actually point to a 2018 report that suggested the net cost of immigration was more than £4 billion in the financial year 2016-2017. However, as we covered extensively, a 2022 report by the Migration Observatory at the University of Oxford said the fiscal impact of migration to the UK was small, but dependent on the migrant circumstances. Some studies actually have shown foreign workers had little or no impact on overall wage or employment levels, and Britain's acute shortage of candidates to fill vacancies was a problem for many company bosses. Mr. Sunak says if he wins the election, he will cap work and family visas at a yearly level agreed by Parliament. This as leading Brexit campaigner Nigel Farage, who is now the leader of the right-wing Reform Party, which polls suggest is sucking votes away from Sunak's Conservatives. Well, Mr. Farage says net migration should fall to zero. The opposition Labour Party, meanwhile, says it would also lower net migration by reducing reliance on overseas workers, addressing the shortage of homegrown skills and tackling rogue employers. But you must note that the issue over legal migration is separate to the equally political contentious issue of stopping asylum seekers arriving in Britain without permission across the channel from Europe in small boats. As you know, Mr. Sunak's scheme to send those arriving this way to Rwanda has failed to get off the ground before the election, while Labour says it will indeed scrap the policy. But what do the numbers indicate? Well, more than 29,000 people arrived on small boats last year, after a record 45,775 back in 2022. And this year, more than 10,000 people have already made the Channel crossing, and it's not even the end of the year yet. Britain is actually spending more than £3 billion a year on processing asylum applications, with the cost of housing migrants that are awaiting a decision in hotels and other accommodation, that runs at about £8 million a day.
A new border security command. I will never accept that it is impossible to take down the vile gangs that bring people in small boats to cross the Channel, and we must smash it.